Alright, so we will be testing these out in my Starstorm Stadium. Wish I had a better angle, but this should work pretty nice. Of course, these aren't good launchers, but I just will use the blue launchers just so you have an idea of what they're like. Not too much power, but you can make them work. First Beyblade I'm launching is Strike Valtryek. 3, 2, 1, let's go. As you can see, it's got some movement around. Alright, so you see when it comes out, you launch it, has a little passive aggressive movement, but then once reboot kicks in, which it should in a few seconds here. Fail reboot. Alright, there we go. You can see it a little now. It's not going around too crazy since you have to have another bay in there with it attacking for it to go crazy. But as you can see, reboot comes down after about a few seconds. You should be like 10 usually. It depends, because it takes a lot longer when you don't have another Beyblade in there. As you can see, this is Genesis reboot. Again, it's not really a good Beyblade, but I think it's one of those just really fun ones. I think that the string gimmick, like, if we're thinking in terms of just Genesis Valtryek, God Valkyrie, and not the Strike one, not this failed Strike, but the spring gimmick has like its fun moments. I think if you have like a nice little wall, you can recreate the anime with the little spring launch, and then you have a reboot, which again, it's not great, but it's really, really fun. So, you know, it's not good. I wish that they gave us the ultimate reboot again, and then they had the proper Strike stuff. If it's not for them, you know, they didn't have to give us a chip, but we could have at least got something more. But, you know, it is what it is. And then we have, next up, we're going to be launching Optimus here. All right, 3, 2, 1. Jaggy isn't too great, but, you know, I really do like the sound of this. And I think it does have a decent amount of stamina. I might stop Optimus just so it doesn't run out, you know. As you can see, it has some pretty nice stamina. If you let it go, it will go for a lot longer. Alright, so now what we're going to do here is that we're going to have a battle between Optimus and Valtryek. I'll be going just a 3, you know, just to make it quick so we can get onto the stadium. From what I remember, since I never had this, Strike Valtryek had terrible burst resistance, but that was mostly, I'd say, probably due to the spring. As you know, it doesn't have the spring gimmick, and the springs just make the bay worse. I don't think Valtryek has good slopes to begin with. At least once it wears down, it's not that good, but, you know, it still works pretty nice. Alright, now we are going to move on to the stadium. I will be assembling the stadium, and from there I will be showcasing it, and we will have our battles. Alright guys, now for the final part of the review. Now we're finally here. We have the stadium. So I finally put all the stickers on it, everything, assembled all the pieces, and now it's time for the battles. So as you already see, we have the double decker as I talked about. I'll be doing the 2-player side just because once the Beyblades drop on the 4-player side, they have more space, and that way it just makes them a little more fun. We'll be doing Valtryek, and Optimus first up on the stadium, though we will be using some other Beyblades I have later on. You see them right here. Let's just get started. Okay, let's go. So I will say this is a set that I think is really good for multiplayer battles, so like 3 to 4 people. Just because with 2-player battles, if one person drops and it kind of turns into a stamina battle, and it's pretty boring. You can reach some of the Beyblades with your hands, but I'd say the best way to get them out is to shake them out. They fall to the bottom. We'll be doing one more with SwitchStrike and Optimus, and then after that one, I will switch over to a few other Beyblades I have just to make some more interesting battles. Alright, I'll start with SwitchStrike. I think the double-decker part, again, while it's just a cramped stadium, I think it really does add a little bit more fun, a bit more, uniqueness how you play. So it is fun at the end of the day. Now, as you see, we have a few other Beyblades here, both from Pro Series, Takara Tomy, and just normal Hasbro, and we will be battling with some of them in this stadium just to get a feel of what it's like. The first battle I will be doing is Buster Excalibur TT versus the Hasbro Turbo SwitchStrike. I might even throw a third one in there too. Probably throw an Optimus in there so you can get a feel of the 3-player battle, but it is a little unfair since it's just me and I'm watching them at a time, but it's still pretty neat nonetheless. You can have some fun battles in here. The only problem is that some bays might drop down too early, but I will say, I think having stamina types and defense types in the stadium causes for a lot more fun battles because they, don't move as much. Attack types move a lot, so they can fall early and they'll run out of stamina, but you get a little more action with stamina and defense types. So this round, we're going to be doing a little anime battle. We're going to be doing Surprise and Requiem, and it's the fence mode versus an Optimus. Just have that little anime throwback. So what it looks like over here, I didn't notice this until now, is that there is like an extra layer. The Beyblade shouldn't be falling into this, but there's like an extra layer that Beyblades might fall into. So before we move on to our final battle, I will be doing this battle with Lord Surprising Hasbro Hypersphere versus the Pro Series. This is first Uranus, whatever you like to call it. I'll be doing this one just so you can see, get a feel of how different Beyblades work. I will say on the 4-player side, in the case of 4 players, that you generally get a lot more space as there's 4 players and 4 ramps. So, and you don't really have the extra layer, which I will say 4 players is a little nicer, but you just don't have nearly as much space at the bottom, but it's fun. So. Last battle will be the throwback battle. We will have our strike, in quotation marks, Valkyriac versus Requiem. So I'll be doing this one on the 4-player side just so you can get an idea. I'm sure if you watch videos of this, since I know mine won't do it justice, but if you watch a lot more videos with this stadium, you'll kind of get it a lot more. First up, we will be doing Spryzen, and this time we'll be doing in the balance mode, stamina. Some battles can end pretty quickly, but you can get some pretty fun battles. Like, these are fast-paced but fun battles, especially because of that layer. And if both of the Beyblades on top go to the bottom, it's really nice. That was a burst. Let's get these out. That was a burst from Strike onto Oh, it almost burst itself too, as you can see, but that was something else. I really didn't expect to see that. This is a pretty old Requiem. I've had this one for about 5 years, so the burst resistance isn't crazy, but it has a really circular shape, which makes it a little harder to burst. And so I'm surprised. And this is Valkyriac too. It's really one of the more weaker Beyblades, especially out of the SwitchStrike line. But SwitchStrike, so it still has the gimmick. It shouldn't have the gimmick, but. Yeah. Alright, so this has been the video. I'm going to try to get everything here. And we have an Optimus here. Alright, so the big question of the video is whether these Beyblades and this set stadium is a good purchase. And especially considering it's been a while and this is expensive now. It's kind of a tough question, but if I had to say it really depends, since they sell these on Amazon for about $60, but it's really a nice stadium. I will say that. I think that, again, it's cramped, which I think just gives it that disadvantage for me in my personal ranking, just because they've had a wider space, and I'm talking about just the middle, not the outer rims, but the middle area, as well as the bottom. That way there was a little more action and the battles aren't too fast-paced. But I still think it makes for some really just fun, quick battles. I also forgot to talk about this, but there is some score pylons, so if you're playing with friends, you can keep track of the score, which looks pretty nice. Each side goes up to 5. That's pretty nice. Same thing goes for these ones as well. But yeah, it's fun. Let's start off with the Beyblades. If I had to give a score for this Valkyriac, unfortunately, I like it, but it's just gonna have to be 4, probably 4 out of 10. Again, I think it just misses the mark of what the Strike had. Not only do you not have the metal on the chip, the metal that gives it weights, but you don't have the Strike part, which I think is just a huge misstep for Hasbro. It probably was one of their biggest flops, but they didn't have much flops during the Evolution era, so this wasn't that bad. We'd had later stuff worse on, but it's just lacking in that. All that, it's pretty fun. It's just Genesis Valkyriac though, and just for that, it has a 4. Optimus over here, I'm gonna give it, probably I'd say a solid 8. I know maybe it's just a little bit of reach, but I think it's pretty fun. The layer is really good. It's anime accurate colors. You have almost everything on there, minus a few details, but it's nice. I really like the upper attacks and the Colossus mode. The smash attacks, yeah, it's jaggy. Pretty neat attack one, It's nothing crazy, but I like it. It's got some stamina. I wish it probably would have been perfect. It had 3 and hits, 3 disc in the hit frame, but it doesn't. But I'd say it's solid 8s. It's pretty nice. It definitely is the better Beyblade out here. And because of that, the Beyblades round out to about a 5 out of 10 average if you add both the scores up and everything like that. You do that. But I think it's nice. I think the Beyblades you get a little lacking in some areas, but nice. And then the stadium itself, if I had to give it a rating, I'd say it's a pretty solid 7.5 out of 10, about 8. Again, it's small, but I think it's just the fun. I mentioned the fun a lot, but for me, when it comes to Beyblade, especially in real life, I think the fun is the most important aspect of it. So, yeah, all in all, I'd say it's still worth it. If you can get it for as cheap as possible, like I got this one for $20, then that'd be great. But I still think it's worth it if you don't, especially for me, since I only have stadiums, which, are just one stadium. I don't have any double-decker stadium, and this is probably my first like really special like stadium. And I think it's fun. It's definitely something I'll enjoy. So that is about it in terms of review. It is a pretty solid purchase, especially 6 years later. You get some nice beys, SwitchStrike. It's weak. Like these are the weaker ones, but this is the weaker one. But this is probably the best of Hasbro, and you get a nice stadium right here, which you can have a lot of fun with. So yes, that has been the video, and thank you. I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave the comments, give me your feedback. This is of course my first time doing like a Beyblade review, any review in general. Just leave your feedback, let me know. And yeah, that's about it. Have a good day, everyone. See ya.